Hey makers, this is Dhruvin and I'm happy to announce my responsive Canvas app step-by-step series. In this series, we are going to build complete responsive application from start to end from scratch. And let me tell you, this is my first ever premium YouTube series for my premium members only. But yes, this first episode is 100% free, using which you can at least get to know that what I'm going to cover up into this entire step-by-step series. I have divided this entire series into 8 different episodes, and we will start our journey from the basic learning, and then we will take one real project example and completely build end-to-end responsive Canvas application over here. So without further delay, let me just talk about what we are going to talk about into today's episode. In this first episode, first of all, I will walk you through the overall course outline and learning goals for this program. Then we will talk about the instructor, which is obviously me. So I will give you the little bit introduction about me, and then we will move away to directly the topic that what is responsive app design into the Canvas application and what is the importance of designing the responsive Canvas application. Because nowadays, most of the customer with whom I am working with, most of the time they are looking for the responsive app design. So what is the significance of that and what are the key things which we need to understand before we get started with the responsive design? We'll talk about all of those aspects into this particular session. Also, we'll talk about how the different resolution and breakpoint works into the world of Canvas application and what are some prerequisites and setup required for a responsive app design, along with key settings that you need to do before you get started. Alright, so without further delay, let's get started and talk about this particular session. So first of all, let me just talk about the overall content which I'm going to cover up with this particular series. As I said, I have divided this entire series into 8 different series. In the first episode, right now, which you are watching, we will talk about the introduction of the responsive Canvas app design, where we will talk about, okay, what is the purpose of the responsive app design, what are the different screen resolution, how you can decide the breakpoint for your screens, what are the things which you need to enable before you start with the Canvas application design for the responsive application, also which are the controls which are responsible for responsive app design. We'll talk about each of these aspects in detail into today's session. Then we are having the second session on how you can get started with the containers with the responsive Canvas app design. In the Canvas application world, whenever we are talking about the responsive app, one thing always come up into our mind that, okay, we need to use the container for the responsive design. Now, how to deal with the containers? Because containers are very tricky to deal with. There are 2 types of container available, like horizontal container, vertical container, and the main containers. Now, how to deal with those containers? Like, okay, what are the properties of that? How you can design in a screen in a way that, okay, when you shrink your resolution, it will automatically adjust its size automatically. We'll talk about all of those aspects in detail. We'll talk about the different complex property of the containers like wrap property, alignment property, padding property, gap property, and we will use the different out of the box screen template as well for the responsive design. And we will at least start able to learn how you can design your own custom template for the responsive app design. So this is all about the second module. In the third module, we will start our real project where we are going to build one council inspection app. So just imagine we are going to build one application where specifically in the Australia, there are different type of councils are there, like they are maintaining road, water and different things for the residents. Now, let's say for an example, I want to build the inspection app for the council that, okay, as an inspector, you are going on the field and you are making some checks that, okay, this is proper, right? I wanted to build that complete application responsive. And why I pick up specifically this topic, let me talk about that as well. Because the thing is that when we are talking about this kind of application like inspection app and the apps which are going to use on the fields, they always require a responsive layout. The reason is that most of the time those inspectors are going on the field, they open their camera or they are just opening their mobile phone or tablet phone, and they start filling up the stuff, and we need to create an interface in a way that it is mobile friendly. So okay, okay, in desktop layout, the form will look like this, but when it shrink to mobile layout, it should be responsive automatically. So we need to talk about all of those aspects in the detail when we are designing this kind of responsive application. So we will start our journey by building this application from the scratch. Here we will not talk about so many data aspects, but at least we will start building the simple form, and on top of that we will cover up our next session topics. Okay, so this is all about the real start project, and specifically we will start our journey from this particular session by defining some sort of home screen, some sort of form, some sort of galleries and everything. So this is all about the module number 3. In module 4, we will start our journey by creating the responsive form with the form control. So we know that in the world of Canvas application, form control is a very popular control where we can design the form easily with just few clicks. Now let's say when you are designing the responsive application, at that time you need to make sure that, okay, whatever responsive container you are using, based on the screen size, it should adjust its positioning automatically. So let's say in the desktop mode, you are having 4x4 layout, but when it move to the tablet, it should be like 3x3. Or maybe, you know, when you are going into the mobile layout, it should be like a 1-column form layout. So how you can deal with those scenarios and how you can tackle the form control with responsiveness, it is all about that thing. We will talk about all the tips and tricks over there. And you know, from here your entire project journey is starting. So you are starting from scratch by creating your project from the scratch, and as well as you are doing the responsive design over here along with me. Okay, so at the end you at least have a confidence to build complete responsive application by your own over here. Okay, so module 4 is all about that. Now let's move to the module number 5, where we will do the responsive galleries with filters and many other functionality in the Canvas application. We know that galleries are a very popular control in the world of Canvas application. Whenever we need to show the data, generally we are showing the data in form of galleries, and gallery provide us the mechanism to write the complete design by our own, which means that, okay, however you want to design your application, you know, or let's say for an example you need tabular layout, or you need card layout, or you need specific design in the gallery, you can make it over there. So now how you can start working with the adaptive gallery, which means that, let's say for an example, if in desktop layout it looks like a table, but as soon as you shrink this layout into mobile, it should be looking like a card layout. Or let's say if you are going in the tablet, it should be like a card layout. How you can do that? We will talk about that with some sort of tips and tricks over here with responsive gallery. We'll see the different flavors of the gallery, and again, like in this entire series, after every class, obviously we will be having some sort of quiz sessions. Along with that, we will having some sort of download material as well. Whatever content that we are building over here, it's fully downloadable. You can download it, you can import it in your environment, and you know, you can use it whenever you want. Along with that, all the codes and everything, I'm going to give it to you. And again, like I would say that, okay, whichever module that you are starting with me, you know, do the practice at the very end. And being a premium member, you know, if you have question around that specific topic, you can just add your questions in the comment section as well. Okay, so this is all about the module number 5, responsive galleries with the filter. Then in module number 6, we will start our journey with the responsive components and pop-ups. Generally what happen here is somehow we are able to manage it out, the screen, forms, galleries and all, but sometimes we are having very minor things into our application, like menu bar, header, footer, left navigation, pop-ups, right? Generally we create the components for that into the Canvas application. Now how to make those components as well responsive, so that, you know, when it change the resolution of the screen, it just adjusts its width, height, colors and elements automatically. We'll talk about all of those aspects over here into module number 6. Then in module number 7, we will be talking about how you can create the forms without form control and make it responsive. most of the time we are using the form control, but many times there are scenarios where you need to insert the data into multiple tables, or maybe form control doesn't suit you. At the time you are creating the independent control form using some sort of drop downs or checkboxes or list box or label or text area or text box or HTML, right? So how you can make that completely responsive without form control using the normal containers. We'll talk about that aspect into module number 7. And module number 8 is all about, I'll just going to talk about that, okay, whatever app that we built so far up to module number 7, because when you reach to module number 7, we are going to talk about every aspects over here, every main aspect over here, okay, like all the control, how to make it responsive, galleries, form, independent control, different property of the form. We already started with the project, homepage, components, right? Each aspect we talk about. So at the end we will talk about like, okay, how you can just import this solution into your environment. So it's like a just tips and tricks kind of video over there. And at the end, once you finish this whole module, I will provide you the training completion certificate as well. So you just need to fill out your information and you will receive the responsive canvas application completion certificate from me, which you can just use it out for yourself. Okay, now who can start this particular course? Let me talk about that as well. Anyone who is working in the canvas application, they can enroll or they can start with this particular course. So it's like 100% pre-recorded course. So all the modules are available when you are watching this video. It's just a matter that on the YouTube homepage of my channel, you just need to go on the top and click on the join button. I'll show you the process on the later part. So just need to click on that, and don't worry about that. The pricing of this course is very, very reasonable, which I'm going to talk about as well in a while. Okay, anyone who is into Power Apps canvas application and know the basics on the Power Apps, or don't know the basics of the Power Apps, but at least with the UI part you just wanted to play around with the responsiveness, because this is where I'm getting the highest request that, okay sir, when you are creating the responsive canvas application course, because underneath my company I'm conducting many courses, but I never conducted this responsive canvas application course, and this is something which I cannot make it live just because of limited availability of mine. So that's why this is my new initiative which I've started with. Okay, I'll launch this as a YouTube premium program. Anyone who is interested, they can just go with those episodes. Okay, so anyone who is new or fresher, or maybe architect level, or maybe if you're a developer or maybe IT professional or app makers, you can enroll yourself into this particular training program. Delivery format is, it's all about the pre-recorded tutorial, and you can get all the solution download file as well, so you can download it in your machine as well. Okay, so now without further delay, let's talk about the overall premium plan which is available for this course. Along with that, let me just talk about a little bit for me, and then we can get started with the responsive canvas application. Now many of you will ask me that, Dhruvin, you have created so many content on the YouTube, so why there is a need of this premium course? Why this is not completely free for us? Okay, let me just answer you this thing over here. So basically the thing is that with this series, I wanted to really deliver some high quality, structured and real world application training. And I want to ensure that dedicated time for myself to construct this particular course. Generally, so far, what happened was, like, I'm conducting lots of trainings underneath my own training company, powerplatformtrainings.com, and we are usually having the live classes and we are interacting with the people. But those programs are a large program. Like generally, I'm having Canvas application program, model driven application program, Copilot Studio program, Power Automate, Power BI. These are the courses I'm having underneath my company, and usually those programs are not available on the YouTube completely. With this, I'm taking a little bit initiative, because what happened is I'm not able to cover up very small thing or small pinpoint that most of the time developers and people have into their day-to-day routine. And there is no sometimes like a structure guideline around that. You will find lots of content on the internet for free, but when you get the structure content, you will get the proper confidence that okay, this is exactly which is useful at the industry level, and this is how I'm able to solve my problems. So with that purpose, I'm starting this particular premium program. And by considering everyone's pocket size, this is like, you know, how this program is designed, that I'm not taking like a thousands of rupees from this particular course or from this membership. Okay, the membership of this training program is less than one cost of your one pizza. So in a month, probably you go one restaurant and, you know, you just go or order something, you know, it's even less than your one time restaurant bill. Okay, pricing is very less and very affordable, because I don't want to make like a very costly program that you can't afford. And let me just reveal that what's the pricing over here. Whenever again, the pricing is different from where you are logging or which country you are in. So generally for that, you just need to click on the join button from my channel, which is already available on my YouTube channel right now. When you click on that, you will be able to see this option, join this channel, and probably this is where you can see the membership fee over here. Okay, and this is like a monthly membership. That's something you are directly paying to the YouTube. We are not getting anything directly in our account, which is basically like to YouTube you are basically paying this. Again, I'm just talking about in Indian rupees. It is right now around 5.99 per month, which is very affordable, which is even less than your medium size pizza pricing. Okay, so with that cost, you know, you are learning lots of using, you know, your day-to-day Power Platform life. All right, so this is the reason why I'm having this particular premium course. And you know, this is a monthly membership, so if you think that in a one month you are able to finish up all 8 videos, then all good. I mean, you just need to pay or you can just cancel your subscription at any point of time. But I'm assured that in this premium membership, I'm going to plan and launch so many different content in the future as well. So other small step-by-step series are also planned across this year. So probably you will be become my loyal premium member and enjoy my premium content over there. But again, if you are not interested for premium membership, don't worry. Lots of free content is also going on my YouTube channel. Already we have published 1100 plus free content, and some more content is also going on throughout this future time. So you can always watch out the free content as well. But yeah, stay connected with this community. So this is all about my premium membership, which I wanted to talk about. At this point, if you feel that okay, you are not you don't want to go further, then you can just pause this video and maybe you can just watch this first free video, which is a part of the demo which I'm just providing to everyone on the YouTube. You can watch it, and maybe you can watch the other free content if you wish. All right, so now without further delay, let's get started. But before that, let me just start a little bit introduction about me. Most of you know from my YouTube channel itself, my name is Dhruvin. I'm Microsoft MVP and Microsoft certified trainer. Currently, I'm working as a Power Platform practice lead in one of the Australian company. I'm an international speaker, YouTuber, and founder of 2 companies. So far on YouTube, I have published 1100 plus video, which you already see on my YouTube channel. There are different playlists around entire Power Platform as well as AI, Copilot, and those pieces. So whenever you see the word power in the world of Power Platform, that's what my subject matter expertise is. Apart from that, I'm working on the SharePoint, Azure, Dynamics side as well. So currently, most of the training program I'm holding underneath my own company called powerplatformtrainings.com. If you just wanted to follow me on all my social media handles, this is the shortcut link which is available in the description box as well. Linktree/Dhruvin.Shah. From that, you can follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere. So you know, again, I would say follow me on Instagram, because this is the platform specifically where I'm uploading short content on the Power Platform. So while watching the mobile feeds and you know, you are just doing the unnecessary reels on your specifically for the Instagram, maybe you will find some good content over there while scrolling, and you can learn something new from me. So if you are interested into that, maybe just go ahead and follow us on the Instagram. Apart from that, underneath my training, I'm conducting the different training programs for Power Apps, Canvas application, model driven, and so many things. You can always check that thing on my website, which is www.powerplatformtrainings.com. Let me just open that up. you can always visit this website, and this is the section of upcoming trainings. Underneath that you will find the details of each training sessions we are conducting, and our training programs is only once in a quarter, so maybe check the dates on the website, or the numbers are also mentioned over here on each of this particular program, so you can just connect us over there. And always the links are available in the description box, so you can always check it out over there for the more information. Alright, so with that note, I don't want to talk more about me. So without further delay, let's get started with the real session agenda of responsive canvas application. So far, if you are still watching this video, maybe you can just make a comment that okay, we are continuing it, we are going with the premium plan or something. Add in the comment section, share your thoughts over here. I'm happy to hear from you guys. Alright, so let's get started with this thing. Okay, so first of all, let me talk about like what is responsive canvas application and what is the purpose of building the responsive canvas application, and why at the enterprise level this is a very crucial thing. So first thing is that responsive canvas application in the Power Apps is a mobile friendly adaptive application that automatically adjusts its layout and UI component based on the device screen size. So let's say for an example, you are building one application for the desktop, but the same application, how it will look like into your tablet devices, mobile devices, that's something you need to always care about. Because the thing is that the more big the resolution is, more elements are adjusted in the screen size. But when your resolution is shrink it a little bit, at that time you need to build the design in a fashion that it can easily adaptable and user do not feel any kind of glitches, or a user can easily able to access your stuff over there. There are many aspects come up into picture when we are thinking about the responsive design. I have seen many live projects where in the desktop version you are having the more and more functionality, right? Okay, but sometimes users are looking for the mobile friendly version of that as well. In mobile, we cannot provide all the functionality, but all the key element which is necessary, that okay, this should be operated from the mobile. So at least we need to convince to our customer, or maybe we need to deliver such a product that it is at least supporting the mobile and tablet friendly responsiveness. Okay, so basically responsive canvas application is ensuring the consistent and optimum user experience across all the devices without needing to design a separate screen for each resolution. The thing is that I have seen many people as well, like they are building the application, let's say for a desktop layout. Then what they are doing is they know about the complexity of the responsive canvas application many times, so they are creating a separate application for the mobile devices, okay, which is a complete separate canvas application and separate URL and everything. Now just imagine how difficult it is to maintain the different application for different layout. Like for a mobile you have separate app, for your tablet you have separate app, and for a desktop you have separate app, right? The maintenance will become very difficult at that time. Let's say for an example, in future you are enhancing your application, you are adding some new feature in your application, you need to make the changes to 3 different places over there. Now this responsive canvas application that we are going to learn throughout this particular journey, that will make this life so much simpler. One application, one interface. It's just a matter that depending on the screen resolution, we are just adjusting the design in a fashion that it will support that thing. Okay, so that is the main purpose of the responsive canvas application. Now the thing is that when we are talking about the different kind of Power Apps, we know that we are having the canvas application, we are having model driven application, and we are having Power Pages, right? Now the thing is that canvas applications are not responsive by default or by nature. While model driven is responsive by nature, you don't need to put any extra effort for the model driven application to make it responsive. But when you are building the canvas application, obviously you need to make that effort over there. And yes, the level of effort is more. It's not like that straightforward that okay, responsive canvas app design is so straightforward that okay, whatever time you are taking for normal application design, it is taking the same amount of time for responsive app design. You need to consider in the mind that when you are building the responsive canvas application, obviously your functionality is the key thing, plus you need to put some effort for making the app responsive as well. Okay, now the thing is that why at the enterprise level people are using the responsive canvas application and why that design matters. I'm saying that okay, not every organization is looking for responsive application. Okay, let me tell you that when you are doing the requirement gathering session with your customer while you are starting your project, it's a key question which you need to ask, or maybe you should add that in your checklist when you are talking to business, that okay, what are the key things, using which you can make a decision that okay, I need this app responsive or not. Let me talk about that first. The first thing you need to always ask is okay, what is your end users, what kind of devices they are using it, how primarily they are going to access this particular app. Are they going to access it only on the big devices like a desktop or tablets, or are they targeting the smaller devices as well? Understand the purpose of your application. Is your application is only going to be used in the offices, or these applications are also being consumed at the site level, like on site, or the application where people are just going to, like we are talking about the inspection app, right? So people are just going to the location and they are going to use this application. We need to talk about this thing with the customer first. Now when they are saying that okay, we have around 90% of the users who are only consuming the application from let's say desktop, or let's say around 10% of the people are the field people. When they go to the field, they are taking some photograph, they are doing some things and do some stuff over there. Okay, understand the audience base over here. If they are saying that okay, all 100% of people we are having, they are going to use via only the desktop devices, they are not going to use via mobile, or they are not going to use via any kind of tablet or other devices, in that case you really don't need the responsive application. It just make your life simpler to build the full tablet layout application, and it will work across all the devices. Okay, now the $1,000,000 question is like okay, even if 10% of or 15% of people are using the canvas application at the mobile level, you need to understand that okay, what level of functionality you are using it. Sometimes our canvas application is too lengthy, like we are building a 50-page application, or we are having so many modules into canvas application, right? And in mobile they are just going to use 5-6 feature, they are not going to use all entire modules, or maybe they are not just going all the admin modules into your mobile devices, right? At the time the decision point will be only things which is required to make it responsive, like okay, they are just filling out some form, they are just accessing some sort of home screen, so probably only those layouts you can just make it as a responsive, but rest of the application you can just make it like a normal application. Okay, we will talk about that aspect as well when we are moving forward with the application. But yeah, this is the decision point you need to make, that okay, whether I should go with the responsive layout or whether I should continue with this normal layout. Okay, also in future classes we will also talk about that okay, what if I do not make the responsive app, and if I try to open the same application into mobile device, how it will look like. It's not looking that bad. Okay, so before you start the responsive design and everything, check about all this aspect. Okay, let's say for an example, if you already have the existing application, try to open that in your mobile device and feel the experience, that are your users are happy with the experience. Because the thing is that if you do not make the responsive application, what happen here is automatically when you open into mobile devices, it is looking like a small, obviously like your user will not get that great experience. Okay, but at least survival thing are over there. So let's say for an example, if only 10% or 5% of people are using the mobile, then maybe you can just show them that okay, this is how it will look like. Are you happy with that? If they say yes, then don't need to create the responsive app. But if they say that okay, no, we don't like this layout, in mobile we just need a proper thing, we just need to convert everything into portrait, and we just need a beautiful design, it should be shrink a little bit. Okay, so at that time obviously you need to make it responsive. If your customer is saying that okay, our 50% of people are accessing from the mobile, then there is no option, you need to obviously build the responsive design. But again, before you start the responsive design, all the key aspects you need to discuss. with your customer that okay, how many of functionality you need for the responsive app design. Always don't try to create the complete application responsive, because let's say for an example, sometimes some of the things are handled by only admins. Let me just talk about one of the scenario. Like let's say for an example, in inspection app, if we are talking about like approvals, or maybe let's say for an example, if we are talking about the example of onboarding application, mostly the onboarding process, it is maintained by your HRs, or it is maintained by the admins or approvers, right? So generally administrative functionality are generally happen from the larger devices, and obviously when we are talking about the administration pages, obviously it is having the heavy functionality. At the time it is always always good that it is fine if you do not make it responsive. Okay, it's totally fine. So here you just need to prioritize when you are designing your responsive canvas application, that how many part of your application you wanted to make the responsive, and based on that you should make your decision. Okay, now what are the key reason why enterprises are asking for this? Now let's talk about that. Number one reason is that they require multi-device workforce. Again, as I said, like let's consider an example of manufacturing plant. So whenever you are working for any plant-based application, that okay, there is a manufacturing plant, they are doing the different different inspection for their boilers, or different inspection for their let's say forklift. Now what happens is most of the time in the plant people are just using the mobile. They have small workstations, so probably on that their admins are working, and probably they are having the big screen computer. Okay, but again, most of the people are going to access via mobile. They are just taking the photograph, upload something over there. So in that cases they require obviously the responsive app design. So basically it supports the multiple screen size, and employee can use the various device, whatever device that they have. According to that, it should shrink the size for that they are asking for that. Sometimes, as I said, they are having field staff and mobile users for them as well. They need a responsive application. Sometimes they require a cost-effective maintenance. So because, as I said, you don't need to build the multiple application for the same functionality, like for mobile, your tablet, and for your desktop. It's just like, okay, one device and maintenance become easy. So at that time as well, this is really, really helpful. Next thing is that you required a very professional experience. So basically what happens is, when we are working with a big MNCs, or when we are working with the big brands, they are very cautious about the UI element, or the layout of the application, because it's a first impression among with their employees or among with their customers. So basically it reflects the brand quality and polished with the consistent UI, and basically it builds the trust and efficiency across the different departments. So obviously, like when you make it responsive, it looks more professional. And when you make it responsive, you are considering so many factors in the mind, that what are the key pinpoint that user are facing, and depending on that you are completely customizing your UI element, so it will provide some better experience to the users. So again, for that as well, this is really, really required. And the last thing is that when you are building the responsive layout, you are also thinking about the low bandwidth scenarios. Generally what happens is, generally in the mobile, people are just accessing via mobile internet. They are not having the strong Wi-Fi connection as well. So generally what we are doing, again in the class, we'll talk about those scenarios as well in detail. Sometimes what happens here is, like when we are talking about the big design, or maybe desktop layout, so maybe we are having like a 50 functionality on the desktop, because depending on the role, they are doing lots of activity, and we have so many things on the screen element. But you think that okay, mobile friendly or light version, like okay, when someone is opening from the mobile, you can also tweak this functionality in a fashion that okay, if you are opening the smaller resolution, then obviously some functionality will be not there into mobile, but again your form will be loading very fast, and saving super fast. So you can maintain that with the responsive canvas application 100%. So whenever you wanted to cover up those kind of scenario, you always need to think about the responsive app design at the enterprise level. This is what I'm explaining, because at industry level, working with thousands of projects, I just gathered that these are the main key areas where customers are really looking for the responsive canvas application design. All right. Now, as a next part, let's talk about how we can get started with the responsive canvas application journey for yourself. I know we are talking since last 30 minutes. If you want to take a break over here, just take a 5-minute break over here. You can just pause this video over here. Obviously recording is continuous, so I'm not taking a break, but yeah, pause here for a moment. And now we are going to start our journey from scratch of the responsive canvas application design. So what are the prerequisites, pre-configurations are required before we get started? So we are going to talk about that journey over here. So let's get started. So here I am on my machine, and here I have opened my canvas application screen using make.powerapps.com. And here I have opened one of my environment called Power Platform Trainings prod environment. Now here we are going to start our responsive canvas application journey. Obviously, at the project level, we are working with the solution most of the time inside the world of Power Platform. But let me show you two different ways to start with the responsive canvas application. Let's say, for an example, if you are not having any solution, or you are creating, you just wanted to explore out the functionality of the canvas application and all. And I have seen many times that people are creating the application using this create option inside the Power Apps. So when you click on create and click on start with the blank canvas, at the time it is by default providing you one option called responsive, tablet size and font size. So when you make it responsive, it start creating the responsive canvas application for you. And over that time, you don't need to do the basic configuration over there by your own. It just do that automatically for you. So now let me just show you how it will look like when you start the responsive design from scratch over here. So let me just click on this responsive option over here. As soon as you click on that, basically it will just open up this kind of canvas application screen where it will create your first page with the responsive layout automatically. Let's see how it will look like over there. So when you open this out, this is what your screen looks like. And you see that by default, the first screen is showing you like this. And over here, you can see that it automatically show you the layout of this kind of header, this kind of middle section, and this kind of footer in out of the box way. So out of the box template of the screen is being applied over here for you automatically. Now, at this point, if you are just clicking on the play button over here to preview your application, it will show you the preview as well into full screen like this. And if you just shrink the layout over here, that okay, tablet layout, so you can see that your screen resolutions are adjusted automatically. And let's see, even if I'm making as Apple iPhone, this is how it looks like. And maybe if I just make it like a portrait layout, this is how it will look like. Portrait and landscape, this is how it looks like. Okay, so by default, using this option, you can start your journey as well. But let's say, for an example, if you don't want to start without solution, there is another way as well which we can start the responsive canvas app design. So let me talk about that. But before that, let me just save this application over here. So I'm just saving this application over here, that okay, YT test responsive app. And let me click on save button over here. And let me save this application. Okay, so this is one way of creating the responsive canvas application. Most of the time what happen here is, in our real projects, we generally have solution already for ourselves. So this is one solution I have called responsive power apps. And when you click on that solution, it's a blank solution at this point. Now in the solution, when you go to the new, and when you start this journey from the scratch using canvas application, what happen here is, it will not show you here the option of responsive. It will always show you the two options over here, tablet and phone. Now let me tell you, whenever you want to make the responsive application, always start with the tablet layout. Okay, never ever start with the phone layout when you are trying to make the responsive application. The reason is that when you select the tablet layout, you are having the more screen layout option available. And the thing is that, what is the meaning of responsive? Responsive means in bigger resolution and smaller resolution, all the resolution should be supported. So if you start from bigger, to make it smaller will be easier. But if you start with the phone layout, it's like more and more changes you need to do it in the future space. So I would say, when you start with the responsive design, always start with the tablet layout only. Okay. Now let me just provide over here name of my application. that okay, responsive app premium series day 1, and let's create this up. So this will create the blank canvas application for me. So let it to be created, and my canvas application has been successfully created. Now this time, if you have observed, it is just creating the blank canvas application at this point. It just have this screen and this blank screen. Unlike other one that we created, it did not added this layout out of the box itself. Okay. Now thing is that when you even play the application, this is how it will look like. Okay. Now the thing is that whenever you generally start within the solution like the canvas application, the very first setting you want to change is, if you want to make it responsive, number one setting is go to this 3 dots over here and click on the setting option. As soon as you click on setting option, go to the display option. And when you go to the display option, this is the feature you need to turn off, which is called as a scale to fit. And what's the purpose of scale to fit? So generally scale to fit scales the app to fit the available space. So turning off this feature will allow screens and controls to fill the available space. It's very simple thing that when you are not making the responsive application, by default this feature is always turned on. So what happen here is, depending on the resolution of the screen wherever you are opening the application, basically it just scale up or scale down automatically. Now we are building the responsive canvas application completely for ourselves. So we just need to make sure that we are just turning off this feature. And as soon as you turn off this feature, you should observe that lock aspect ratio feature is also disabled. So this is the first thing you need to do when you are working with the responsive application. Turn off the scale to fit feature. Click on close and make sure you click on save button or you use shortcut key Ctrl+S. Okay, so I'm just saving my change, and now let's try to play this application. Now, as soon as the scale to fit option is enabled, you should observe my app is opening on the complete screen like this. Currently my screen resolution is this much. So for this complete layout, it just opened. Earlier, if you have observed, it will show up this side some space and this side some space. It's not just open into completely, full screen mode. Now as it become responsive, whatever your screen size will be, according to that, it just captures the full layout over there for yourself. And this is how it looks like. Okay. Now the thing is that you have done with your first step. So this was the first step. Now if we look at the other way around, that when we created this responsive app design out of the box itself, at that time, just see in the setting here what kind of setting it looks like. So if you go here and go to the setting and go to the display option, at that time you can see for that responsive app, the scale to fit was turned off already. We didn't make any changes over here, but it's turned off by default. But the way we are creating for the tablet layout, at that time we always need to turn it off. Okay. Now let's try to understand the second important terminology of responsive app design. Whenever we are talking about the responsive app design, we need to think about the screen resolution. So when I'm playing the application over here, right, how do I know that I'm opening this application into mobile layout, or maybe I'm opening this application in the desktop layout, or what would be my screen size? How do I know that? And how Power Apps is handling that case? For that, in the world of Power Apps, we are having an amazing property called Breakpoint property. So when you go to the app and when you look at your property section over here, you will be able to see size breakpoint option over here. By default, in the Power Apps, it is just dividing into 3 main size: 600, 900 and 1200. Again, this is a common screen sizes, right? Generally, if you want to design your own custom size breakpoints, you can design that as well. But over here, these are like a 3 out of the box size breakpoints available over here. Now, what do we mean by that? Let me just talk about that with some sort of image so you will get a better idea. So whenever you are that particular screen size, what it is suggesting to you, Okay, so let's say for an example, over at that time it was written over here like generally like a 0, 600 and 1200. That's what we are having over there. Okay, now the thing is that whenever we are talking about the breakpoint, it will just returning you the number that okay, in which resolution of the screen you are in at this point. Okay, generally what happen here is like this is the official Microsoft documentation's image. So generally we are considering 0 to 600 resolution as a small resolution, then 600 to 900 resolution as a medium resolution, and 900 to 1200 resolution as large resolution, and after 1200 to infinite we are just considering as a extra large resolution. Okay, now the same funda works over here as well. Now let's say for an example, currently we are having three size brackets over here, 600, 900 and 1200, like for your small, medium, large and extra large. Okay, now this is how it works. Let me explain you. Now over here on my screen, let me add one property. So I'm just adding one text label over here on the screen. Let me just make its font a little bit bigger over here so you can see it. So let me just make the font size as 26, and let me add one property over here like screen dot size. So what is my screen name? Screen1 dot size. Okay, and let's see what it is returning to me. So currently it is returning me the 4. Now what do we mean by 4 over here? So you know, in size breakpoints we are having three properties over here, 600. So you know, this is how it is treating this size brackets over here. Okay, so you are having 0, 600, 900, 1200. Okay, now what happened here is like this is your first breakpoint, this is your second breakpoint, this is your third breakpoint, and whatever after that it's your fourth breakpoint. So that's the reason why it is returning me fourth, because right now I'm on the bigger screen. Okay, now let me just shrink my size a little bit. So let me see, I'm just opening now mobile over here, and let's see what I'm getting over here as a size breakpoint. So let me just shrink my size a little bit to iPhone like this, and now you can see I'm just getting here 1, right? Because my resolution is getting decreased, and now it is just falling under 0 to 600 bracket, and it is like a first point. So you know, with this property you will get that okay, in which resolution you are in at this point. So this will become your conditional statement moving forward in upcoming classes, that okay, how do I know that this is my smaller resolution or medium or large resolution? Based on that you can design it out. Okay, now let's say for an example, sometimes you have some custom requirement that okay, you are not just following some global size format for the screen size. Maybe let's say you want to design something different for even the extra large screen. Okay, so let's say you are adding one more resolution over here called after 1200, maybe you are adding like a 600 over here. Okay, so you can add additional size breakpoint as well for yourself, that okay, 600, and maybe after that for 1800 you want to add your another resolution, or maybe in between that you want to add another resolution called 1368. Okay, and maybe you need that separation out for yourself. Then you can design the multiple value over here underneath your size breakpoint. Okay, now what happen here is whatever you define over here, based on that when you play the application it will change. So now let's say for an example, I'm just going with the window size at this point. So you can see right now I'm getting the value 6 because my screen resolution is bigger right now. Okay, and we know that how many breakpoints we have designed over here at this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is just deciding like okay, in which resolution you are in, and based on that it is just returning with the value. So iPod mini, this is how it looks like, or maybe when you turn into phone, this is how it looks like. But phone in the portrait mode, landscape mode, this is how it looks like. Okay, and maybe if you just define this kind of canvas size, then this is what it give you the value over here. And maybe when you are just here and trying to play with some different resolution, you can just try it out like okay, window canvas size, and maybe if you are doing window size, like it's more bigger over here. Okay, so you will get the different screen sizes over here or depending on your resolution. So again, like this is the way you can design your custom size breakpoint. So currently we are not going to design so many custom size breakpoint. Generally it is ideal to just stick with this 3. So it will give you the 1, 2, 3 or 4. If it is about 1200, it will give you 4. Okay, my screen size is bigger, so that's the reason why you are getting the more bigger number over here when we design the custom size breakpoint over there. Okay, so this is another important property, size breakpoint. As a theory, I just wanted to explain you on that, because this is very key important thing. Like based on this size breakpoint, we are going to work in the future session that how the responsive design should be shrink depending on the different resolution. So this is the place where you get the in which screen size you are in at this point. Okay, now from here, let's go one more level up and let's talk about what are the different controls available inside the Canvas application when you are working with the Canvas application responsive design. So let me talk about few controls which is really important. So number one control which is useful for responsive Canvas application is container. So when you go to the insert option and search for the container over here, at the time you are able to find 3 things over here underneath layout. Number one is container, horizontal container and vertical container. So container has 2 types. Either you want to shrink your element horizontally or you want to shrink your element vertically. That's something that you can decide via container. Again, choosing the container is again a very key important aspect when we are designing the responsive app. I have completely second class on the container where we are going to talk about each and every detail of the container in detail. Also, we are going to talk about that when to use what type of container. So you will get a better understanding on context around that during that particular time. Okay, so let's wait for the detailing on the container in the next session. But this is the overall thing for responsive application. Containers are the key element which we need to understand here. Okay, apart from that, Power Apps natively also offer some sort of responsive screen layout which is designed on top of the container. Let me show you. So when you click on new screen over here, you can see probably some of the screens over here. Okay, so you can see this split screen, and whenever you can see this kind of icon, like okay, this kind of bigger layout and this type of smaller mobile layout, right? Click on that thing. Okay, so basically whatever is built over here, let's see that. Okay, so now you can see this is the screen which is screen layout which is out of the box available. So it is nothing but it is designed with this kind of container. So this kind of out of the box screens are also available. Now in this container you can add your additional component or additional objects. Okay, now when you play that, it's fully responsive. And when you go even in the mobile over here, you know how we are having both side by side, and in mobile it just shrink a little bit down to it. You know, this is how it looks like. Alright, now there are so many other different template also available over here for ourselves. Okay, let me just show you. So this is one template. This is like a sidebar template. Again, this template is very popular template. Okay, so sometimes you are having like a header, side, and you know, this kind of thing. You can always go with that. And when you play it, this is how it looks like in the bigger layout. And maybe if you just want to try this out, let's say for an example, for a mobile devices, just open it up like this, and this is how it shrink its size over here like this. Okay, so this is how that another layout looks like. We are having one more layout called header and footer, like this layout. Okay, so you know, when we created the responsive application at the very beginning with the different approach, you know, this layout was applied over there. So at the time from screen, this layout is by default applied. So you know, if you are not creating from there, and if you are creating from scratch from the solution, maybe you can just use this layout for this kind of screen if you want it. Okay, so some sort of native screen layouts are available over here. Okay, some of the screen, like okay, this is like one of the welcome screen, which is again providing some sort of responsive design. Okay, so let me add that over here so you will get a better understanding around that screen. Okay, and this is what it has added over here. And now when I'm playing this, you know how in the mobile layout it looks like. You know, if I open the same thing into the tablet layout, you know how it looks like. And maybe if I'm opening into this kind of window size, how it will look like. right? You can check this thing over here, and when you open in the canvas, this is how it will look like, right? So this is how, it just change its screen resolution automatically, and this all the templates are supporting that. Okay, I'm just adding one by one template over here. And again, as a part of this class homework, what you need to do is, after this after you watch this recording, or while watching this recording itself, pause here at frequent interval and just do that activity along with me, so you will get more confidence around that. Okay, so, and let's say this is another screen which is available. Why I'm showing you all this thing, you can see it by your own, but sometimes we are not putting the effort into that. And very good features are available out of the box itself, that making our life simpler. So this is like a one kind of approval layout it is offering. How beautiful it created this screen layout. And when you play this is how it looks like. If I open the same thing in the mobile, this is how it looks like. You see in mobile layout, they are just hiding this, some of the element. So at least from here, you will get some sort of inspiration of designing the screen. Obviously in the next class, we will going to talk about that in detail, but this is, I'm just explaining at the very high level. Okay, so we just added that. Sometimes you need some sort of header and table. Okay, like this is what the layout which is properly fitted over here. Okay, so it just come up with this kind of table layout. Obviously the data source is not configured yet, but this is how it looks like, and this is how it will show it to you. Or maybe some sort of, let's say you just need a header and form, maybe you can just use this kind of template over here. Okay, so many different flavors are available, so just explore this out. And it just provide you this layout, and when you play it, this is how your header form looks like over here. Obviously form is not configured yet because we haven't connected any data source, but at least it is giving you this kind of thing in the preview for yourself. Okay, so it's just showing you like this. So many different templates are there. And now let's go to one more level up from here, and you will be able to see like table and form, and just have a look around that as well. So I'm just adding that as well on my screen, and let's see how it looks like. And it just added this thing for you, and when you play it, this is how it looks like in the responsive mode. Okay, and showing and hiding the things depending on the stuff, so you can just test it out like this. Okay, so these are the different screen layout which are available for responsive application. Almost like you see here at this point, this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 different responsive layouts are available over here in out of the box manner. Okay, now the thing is that our requirements are always complex, right? So obviously we can't survive our needs with this out of the box responsive screen layout. So we need to design our own screen layout from the scratch. So how does that work, and how the container concept will work? That's something we are going to look out in our next class. So next class is all about the containers and how you can start building up some sort of home screen, some sort of screen layout for yourself. What is vertical container, what is horizontal container, we'll talk about in detail. All right, so that's pretty much it for today's first episode of the session. Now, if you want to watch the next episodes from here, probably the playlist link is available in the description box, as well as you will find a link to join the premium membership of the YouTube. So just click on the join button and you will be unlock the next set of episode for yourself. Okay, so see you all in the next episode then. Also, I have provided one link for the feedback for today's session. Please feel free to provide your valuable feedback into the form. We are happy to hear from you and happy to consider your feedback, how we can improve our services. So that's it for today. If you are for the first time to my channel, and if you just want to subscribe to my channel, just click on the subscribe button which is available on the channel cover homepage. As I said, if you want to see the next episode, just click on the join button over here, and again it's a less than one medium size of pizza membership. Okay, so feel free to join our premium membership. If you're not joining, that's also fine. You can still watch the free content over here. All right, and don't forget to follow me on my Twitter and Instagram, and see you in the next episode with some amazing content. Till then, lots of love. Have a great day. Goodbye.